Jessica Frost-Ballas here with the next installment of the Interactive Cards by Jess series for Simon Says Stamp. Today I'm sharing how to create a slider card using the new Lawn Fawn Let's Toast pull tab add-on dies along with some adorable stamps and dies from Hello Bluebird. There are lots of ways to create slider cards, but this is another way to use that die set in an unexpected way, so let's get started. To start, I stamped the foliage, sloth, and monkey from Hello Bluebird's Jungle Littles onto white cardstock with VersaFine and heat emboss it with clear embossing powder. I stamped the foliage several times as I plan to layer them on my scene along with die-cut foliage leaves. I color the images with Copic markers and then die cut them with the coordinating dies. I use basic 3-marker shading groups for the leaves and flowers and vary the combos I use on each leaf for more variety. I'll list the markers used in the supply list below and on the Simon Says Stamp blog. Next, I die cut the tropical foliage dies from Hello Bluebird 3 times with watercolor paper. I smush Mowed Lawn, Twisted Citron, Evergreen BOUGH, and Pine Needles Distress Ink onto a craft mat and spray it liberally with water. Then I smush the die cut leaves into the ink and set them aside to dry. I like the variation in color you achieve with this technique. After I finish all the leaves, I blot them with a paper towel and then repeat the process for a more vibrant finish. This time I let them dry naturally. While those are drying, I blend the same colors onto a panel of Strathmore Bristol cardstock, spritz it with water, and set it aside to dry. This will be the background of my card. I also blend the same distressing colors onto a second sheet of Strathmore Bristol cardstock and die cut it with the tropical foliage dies. Once they're die cut, I spritz them with water and blot off the excess before setting them aside to dry. Once everything is dry, I trim the background panel down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and start to set my scene on the panel. I'm using the new Let's Toast pull tab add-on die from Lawn Fawn, and first I die cut the thin slit from the middle of the panel. This will create the slider. Next, I line up the rounded slot die with the slit I've already cut and run that through my Gemini Junior. Finally, I die cut the long white T-shaped piece and the scored rectangle. First, I fold the rectangle along the scored lines. This will create a sleeve for my slider tab to help it slide more easily. Next, I fold the T-shaped piece. I start by folding and scoring the little wings in towards the center of the T, and then fold them out on the next score line. Sorry my hands go a little out of frame here, but hopefully you can still see how they will fold. Next, I fold up the 2 small flaps and slide them through the slit on my card panel. Once they're through the slit, I fold them back down and test the slider by pulling on the tab. Then I line up the tab with the rounded slot. I fold and adhere the sleeve around the tab and then carefully adhere the sleeve to the back of the panel. This holds the pull tab in place so that it doesn't move from side to side. You'll see that I make a few changes as I go along, but first I arrange a vine and my sloth to the top right of the card panel. My original plan was to adhere the monkey and vine to the flaps of the slider tab, which I do. Then I realized that I can actually trim down the flaps so they're not visible around the monkey, so I carefully pull the monkey off the flaps, trim them down, and then re-adhere my monkey, sloth, and vine. You can easily trim the flaps to be any size to fit the image you want to slide. Then it's time to decorate my scene. I want to try to hide the top of the monkey's vine, so I adhere together several of the Distress Ink smushed leaves and use foam mounting tape to adhere them to the top left corner of the panel. I trim the very top off of the monkey's vine so it won't get stuck on the corner leaves. I also add a few more leaves around the edge of the panel to create that jungle feel. Then I add a few of the Copic colored leaves and flowers over top of the Distress Ink smushed leaves. Once I'm done building my scene, I scribble a little green Copic marker onto my card base to help disguise the slider. I also carefully color the slider tab so that the white doesn't show when my monkey moves. I apply a single layer of foam tape on the back of my panel, being careful not to cover the pull tab, and adhere it to the card base. Next, I die cut the little arrow flap from the Let's Toast add-on set from lipstick red cardstock and glue it to the end of the pull tab to create a colorful handle. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that my camera had shut off due to overheating, but off camera, I stamped the sentiment from Jungle Littles on black cardstock and heat embossed it with white embossing powder. Then I used the sentiment label dies from Simon Says Stamp to trim it down to a thin angled label and adhered it to the card with foam mounting tape. I also die cut a red heart from the Lawn Fawn heart die set and adhered it to the back of the monkey with a thin strip of acetate. When you pull the tab, the monkey joins his little sloth girlfriend for a cute Valentine's Day anniversary or wedding card. And that's it! I hope this inspires you to give slider cards a try. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back next month with a new interactive card. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, happy crafting! Bye!